But this is about reevaluating your values. This is about reevaluation of how you interface with your world. You know, this is a dynamic of it's time to consider the what if of a worst case scenario. It's time to consider that at the very least. Right. And so, you know, you can, each of you, you know, you have your own reason. You can get angry. You can feel hurt. You know, you can feel disappointed. But if you are feeling disappointed and you are feeling hurt in that sort of way, what is the only way that you really wind up feeling disappointment? It is by having, and we don't have Natalie here to argue with, it is by having unreasonable expectations. So, do we not have unreasonable expectations of government? Do we not have unreasonable expectations of that dynamic of energy? They are laying off tens of thousands of individuals. If you remember back in the day, Bill Clinton laid off 400,000 people during his tenure. And through that dynamic, he balanced the budget. But what also wound up happening with those 400,000 people? Were they absorbed within the workforce that easily? Can that happen now? Is this not a situation where if so many people are left without income, how many are actually really prepared for anything like that? You will find. That's why we, you know, what last week we were talking about side hustles. You know that it's important that maybe you have a side hustle, that you find a way. You know what skills do you have as individuals? You know, we would say at the very least you have certain mental health skills. We want to tell you that's going to be needed more than anything. So, you know, there's always going to be the interaction between people. It is a dynamic. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to deal with the dynamic that there's not enough? Or are you going to have the understanding that as a collective, as individuals, you can only accomplish so much. As a group, you can accomplish much, much more. So we realize that you guys are spread out all over the country, and but is it not maybe possible to think about who is closest to you, family, friends, extended family, who actually could be people that you could count upon, people that you can, you know, sometimes it's relatives, but sometimes it's very much not. Okay. So, with that bit of gloominess, we would also tell you at the very same time that many of you are going to be faced with the dynamic that you are going to wind up having the opportunities to be successful while so many others are crashing and burning. And that is primarily because you have taken part in any number of situations like this where you have allowed a communication between you and your higher self, because it is the dynamics of the energies of your higher selves that is creating the sessions every week. And so we are, if you notice, especially over the past 6 weeks or so, we have been opening up the dynamics and following the flow of energy as we go around, and we touch on the energies with each of you. And we would hope, and the purpose of that is so that you can have not only your microcosmic view of reality, but you can have a bigger view, almost a moderate view of this small collective, and then take that energy and have a bigger understanding of the greater, the more macro collective, the more macro energy that is going on right now, because there is your personal energy, there is the dynamic of your personal, what your personal energy attaches to and collects, and that includes the people that you see every day, your family, your job, all of that kind of stuff. And then there is the greater dynamic that is run by the divine energy that is on its path, that you are, this is the great dance that you have chosen to participate in. You create your reality 100%, and at the same time, you were involved in a great dance of co creation with each other, with Mother Earth, and with all that is. Okay? We had to say that one more time. That was for Megan's benefit. So. Well, you hang out with us and you will hear that any number of times over the years, because that's the ultimate dynamic of responsibility. When you can take that level of responsibility and you can realize, and if you can look at the dynamics of your lives and the challenges of your life, and you can look at the dynamics of energy of your life and say, oh, I've given myself this challenge. Why have I given myself this challenge? And so, because of that, you can begin to figure out what your life lesson is. And you can begin to face the emotional dynamics that are underlying it. And so, therefore, what shall we say, understand that there can be a certain elegance in dealing with the problems of your lives, and that each problem you overcome, each dynamic of wisdom and experience you gain, move you farther forward, and of course brings up the next challenge. Because as we shared with Adrian not that long ago, the challenges don't end. You reach a certain dynamic of an understanding, and then reality gives you a little bit of a break, and then it's time to be kicked in the ass again to move forward. Because, what is consciousness? Does your quest for consciousness end when you're 65? And you can retire and you can leave it all behind and you can all live happily ever after? How many of you guys are still looking for happily ever after? Well, so maybe we should have said how many of you guys are deluded? No, no. There is a happily ever after. There is a happily ever after, but it's probably you didn't. Let's put it this way: you didn't choose to be physical for the experience of happily ever after. Okay, and you have to realize that you chose to be physical, no matter how challenging the dynamics have been. All right, all right.